Hello Giants fans, welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. I make it a practice to take questions first thing. The question I have for today is, what steps do you think the Giants need to take in order to start winning? I believe that the hot streak that the Giants got on right near the end of the 2022 season demonstrates something. Now you remember that skid the Giants had right up at the trade deadline, that 7-game losing streak that was just ridiculous. They could not get really any part of their game together. It was just every day I was like, okay, they've got to win tomorrow, and it didn't happen. After they got swept in 4 games by the Dodgers, I was already saying they need to start winning. Then what did? They got swept in 3 by the Diamondbacks. Then after that, though, they did win 3 out of 4 against the Cubs. But it was really too late to save their chances of getting much at the trade deadline. I think Farhan Zaidi still wasn't too impressed, and certainly not enough to bring in the players that the Giants needed. Hardly anything was done at the trade deadline. Carlos Rodon wasn't traded, like kind of the popular consensus was that he would be. They kept him, whether it was because they weren't getting the offers for Rodon that they thought they should get, or because they thought they had a legitimate chance at the playoffs, or a combination of those factors. Rodon stayed on the team, but they just did not add enough new players, enough high quality. They certainly didn't go after the best at this year's trade deadline. They didn't improve their team the way it needed to be improved. Now, we see the hot streak that they're on at the end of this season, winning some games here. Just won this series against the D-backs. Won today 4-3. Excuse me. So they've been winning, yes. And I mentioned before that if they could have been a little bit closer in the wild card race, this might have just bridged that gap for them and gotten them a place in the playoff picture. But they just weren't consistent enough up until now, and they've rallied, started to get really good again, but it's too late. It's just demonstrated that their return to quality was just too late. But if they had gotten players at the trade deadline, if they'd been serious about it, how many wins might that have added? Well, it could have done a lot. And it's just, you've got to kind of shoot as high as you can, like Juan Soto even. Yes, he would have been highly priced, but 2022, even at the end of July, still should have been a playoff run for the Giants. That's just what it should have been. So I don't believe that they added what they needed to. But, that's the part that's kind of over now. Excuse me, I don't know what's with me today. But they got down to here, and the hot streak they were able to get on was too late. So could they have added some quality, made it better, gotten really hot up to this point? Well, that's what we'll never know, but I think it's pretty likely, to be honest with you. Well, the past is over, and what we can do is look at the future, and Farhan Zaidi has said that it's going to be a big offseason for the Giants. I don't know why I have a cough today. Sorry about that. That's what he said, and I believe he means business. What makes all the difference, I believe, for the Giants is going after the best players. They didn't do that last offseason. They didn't do it at the trade deadline, but they have an opportunity to do that this offseason, to be serious about it, to go after players that are going to make the team consistently win games. The hitting and the pitching, just both of those aspects of the game. That's what the Giants need to go after this offseason. And if they can go into 2023 with a really strong roster, and and show that they were serious about getting the best players, then there's a chance for 2023. You will remember, though, that 2022, they actually started off winning. They were winning games in the start of 2022, then had a couple of really cold streaks, then that really bad one up at the trade deadline. And what some of you may want to know is basically what changed. Well, I can't answer that for a fact, but I'm sticking with my belief that having a stronger roster to begin with is going to be the key. Because a team's performance isn't going to be spread out evenly in a season. A bad team can be really hot. A good team can be really cold too, but it's just less likely to overall have a bad record. So if the big offseason is as big as Farhan Zaidi says it's going to be, there's no reason to doubt if he said it's going to be a big offseason. What I would take that to mean is that he is looking at signing some top free agents, and then they need to not get injured or anything. So that's going to be the key for 2023. They have a chance to make it count or not to. Anyway, the game today, I can get to that now. They beat the Diamondbacks 4-3. Not that it matters or that I care anymore for this year, but just for your interest, they won in extra innings, which is something that the Giants, it's not been one of their strengths this year, but they did win in 10 innings. David Villar had a walk-off single. And Scott Alexander opened up the game for the Giants again today. Second day in a row where he opened it. He pitched a scoreless first inning, then Thomas Szapucki pitched 2 innings. But that home run by Austin Slater in the 7th inning and then the walk-off hit by David Villar in the 10th were key things for the Giants. We'll keep watching Villar's ability to perform in key situations. I mean, sometimes he has that power that they need. This time it was just the timely hit in the bottom of the 10th inning. So we'll need to keep watching that with Villar as a prospect. The prospect that he definitely is for the Giants in the future. Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Thank you for that question. Anyone who has questions, you know where to put them in the comments. I'll see you next time. And please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much, everybody who subscribed. And we'll be here next time on Giants Baseball 101.